Illinois, December 15th, 1791. Yes.
Oh, but, well, it has to, this can't be the original because it says United States, right?
No, right at the preamble to the original Constitution says, "We the people of the United States."
Okay.
So the shysters were in the United States,
Right.
and they were. Everybody could know this if we were taught this.
Right.
The purpose of school is so we don't know this.
Right. Keep us occupied so we don't know what we need to know.
Correct. Greetings, Galena. Happy Valentine's Day week.
Thank you. And to you all. I'm almost to my destination, but I'm right now. And back to you all. Okay.
So you can go up to the preamble, Antoinette. You can scroll up to the preamble. So there you go. We the people. The edge switches that drew everything up in DC.
Right.
See, but that's irrelevant because it says, "We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America."
Right.
So then we go down to Article 6, Paragraph 1. And that's Article 4. Wait a minute, 6. All debts contracted and engagement entered into before the adoption of this Constitution, now we have contracts, shall be as valid against the United States that's under this Constitution for the United States of America, which is also under the Articles of Confederation. So with this list, the Articles of Confederation is at the top.
Yeah, that comes clear. That's awesome. Thank you for pointing that out.
Well, the guy that made it clear was Charlie Dan.
Oh.
And 2 years ago into another assembly's educational calls Tuesday nights at 9:00. Charlie made that clear. So then you look at Clause 2. This Constitution and the laws of the United States, who cares about the United States? We're not in it.
Right.
Which shall be made in pursuance thereof, and all treaties made. Well, guess what? The Articles of Confederation is a treaty. It's a league of friendship. A league of friendship's a treaty. A treaty is what? The authority of the United States shall be the supreme law of the land. The man or woman on the land. And the judges in every state shall be bound thereby. Anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary, with no standing. We don't know this because we're ignorant.
By intention.
Correct. So, Antoinette, can we go to the Articles of Confederation, Article 2? Thank the good Creator in heaven for Antoinette, who found a correct copy of the Articles of Confederation in a 1927 government printing office book, because you're not going to find it in any pocket Constitution type things, and you're not going to find it in most sites that says this is the Articles of Confederation. It's going to be all wrong. So can we zoom in on that, Antoinette? So the Article 1 is the style of this confederacy shall be the United States of America. None of the other documents have that terminology with that capitalization. in the Constitution for the United States of America, the is lowercase t.
Right.
So now Article 2. Each state, that's your state, or the unincorporated geographical region of the state prior to incorporation, retains its sovereignty. That means you are all sovereign. Freedom, meaning you can do whatever you want. But America's made for a moral and religious people under the Creator. So when you do whatever you want and you cause a conflict with a neighbor, it's a problem. Freedom, independence, and every power, jurisdiction, and right which is not by this Confederation expressly delegated to the United States and Congress assembled. See where it says power like that with a capital P?
Yep.
That's and jurisdiction. That is consistent with what we find in Article 3 of the Constitution. Let's go to Article 3 of the Constitution, Antoinette. Can we switch change screen? So I don't know what this means, capital letter in this context, but I know what it means in the Constitution. Let's go up to Article 3. The judicial power, lowercase j, capital P, of the United States, Section 1. Of the United States shall be vested in one Supreme Court. Well, guess what? That's your court. All other courts are inferior courts. Now, wait a minute. Does that mean the United States Supreme Court's inferior? Yes, 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 yes. So the top court is your court, common law. This is what they worked to undo at the beginning. Then, so it was unincorporated 1787. It was incorporated 1789. By 1789, they added Article the 11th, which is, can we find that? Maybe I can find it and share my screen. Screen share. Share. Okay. Can you see the 11th Amendment here?
Yeah.
11th Amendment. The judicial power of the United States shall not be construed to extend to any suit in law or equity commenced or prosecuted against one of the United States by citizens of another state or by citizens or subjects of any foreign state. So you see how the J and the P are change out on the 11th Amendment? It's because they were working on taking advantage of the American people as quick as they could. Go ahead, Antoinette.
I'm just answering yes. I'm kind of comprehending this whole statement.
So the document itself says it's lowercase j, capital P. That means the people's power. They hear with this 11th article, Article the 11th, it says the judiciary, the public officials' power, which is limited, lowercase p, of the United States. Now we're in that geographical area. Shall not be construed to extend to any suit in law or equity. That means we're never going to do it right. We're never going to do common law. We're never going to do law of the land out of DC. They're only going to do at law or against law or admiralty maritime law. Commenced or prosecuted against one of the United States, so against the United States, by citizens of another state or citizens or subjects of any foreign state. Because DC is going to have to deal with admiralty maritime. Why? Because any other country, you're dealing with admiralty maritime, law of the sea, because they're across the sea. So you're in admiralty maritime, law of the sea, admiralty maritime. The Articles of Confederation didn't work because every state or colony was its own country. Every other country in the world needed to work with a sovereign. Every other country in the world was a dictator or a king. So it was easy to find the sovereign. You couldn't do it under the Articles of Confederation. So they made a sovereign place, which was the District of Columbia. And the head of that was the president. And then you had somebody you could talk to when you're from a foreign country and want to talk to America or the United States. You have to start with America to get to the United States of America. There's overlays of jurisdiction and authority. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Until they turned it into a corporation.
Yeah, now let me stop screen sharing and let's go to Article 3, Section 2, Antoinette. Where's Article 3 at? I may have a slow internet here.
Article 1, sorry, Article 2.
Article 3.
Article 1. Article 2.
So we're going to go to Article 3, Section 2. I think my system's slow.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Okay, or Clause 2. Go up a little bit. Or Paragraph 2.
Article 2.
Article 3.
There we go.
Yeah. All right, Section 2. So there it is again. So here it says the judicial power, which is the people's power, shall extend to all cases in law and equity. That's the people's power, the way the J's lowercase and the P's capitalized. But it's referring to the United States in Article the 11th. So these guys are shysters. They're Pharisees and they're Sadducees and they're scribes and they're semantic hacks against the American people. Go ahead, I yield. Thoughts, questions, concerns, ideas, epiphanies?
Well, it actually spells it out here. To all cases affecting ambassadors, other public ministers, or consuls. This is just what you add. To all cases of our admiralty and maritime jurisdiction.
So in other words, the common law with we the people is over the top of all this. But they ferreted it out against the people because the people have become fat, lazy, and ignorant, or evil. And because of their evilness, maybe they've come under a strong delusion to do what ought not be done. And then the Creator allows them to be harangued by the bad guys.
This is Kalina, may I?
Hang on.
Yes.
Okay, well, I just want to say it's just so helpful for me to see it in writing because then my brain absorbs it. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I highly recommend finding a copy of the Constitution for the United States of America, and on your free time, looking at Section 2 and looking at Article the 11th and looking at it, comparing the two and trying to burn into your brain what it's saying, because that will make the difference. Then this will make sense. Again, Charlie Dan from an assembly for 2+ years talked about this. I wasn't looking at the screen, I was listening. And then I finally did look at the screen, and it took a long time to even get this sunk into my head. But now I think I comprehend it. And then it talks about trial by jury in Article the 5th or the 7th. And that's where we get the common law. But we can't get to the common law because we don't even know that part. Because trial by jury is not jury trial. And jury trial is not trial by jury. It's two different things. And these smart people, don't ever forget, wicked and evil people can be absolutely brilliant. And that's what happens. You have God's people that are brilliant. You have wicked and evil people that are brilliant. So the system, who's filled with wicked and evil, will get wicked and evil, brilliant people to screw over all the people as best they can. If the people rise from their sleep and rise from their slumber, in 2 Chronicles 7:14, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven, forgive their sins, and heal their land. Well, that takes we, the people, in right standing with the Creator, coming humbly before the throne of grace and asking Him to forgive us for the sins that we've committed and being willing to turn away from evil and turn towards that which is good. We need to set our lives, our focus is flint, and we need to submit ourselves under the Creator, and via the power of the Holy Spirit working in and through us, we can do all things through His Son, Yeshua HaMashiach, who strengthens us. It's a choice.
Yeah.
No. That's why I didn't want to watch Super Bowl.
Can I say one thing on Super Bowl? I mean, I haven't watched it in years, but I did look at the halftime show just to see what message the deep state's putting out. OMG. Gosh, it was so dark. And so I couldn't watch it because the movements and everything was very robotic, and the energy coming through was not of the light. So I don't think it's switched over yet, guys. I yield.
So I don't watch that stuff, and my mother's been sick and had heart trouble, 30-some pounds of fluid taken off of her. So she had it on. She wanted to see it, so I watched it. So I thought, well, what I'll do here with my analytical mind is pull out the satanic that I can pull out. And there were Masonic symbols in pictures and in images and in hand gestures and fire and just a lot of evil stuff. So if you could have somebody will take that halftime show and break it down and point that stuff out. So, yep, all that was going on. You couldn't understand the words, per normal. It was a loud mess.
Can't seem to shut my phone off. I gotta just shut it off completely.
So, for those of you that joined a little bit late, we're trying to get a proper term for foreign address, which really isn't the proper term. Because address is an all-encompassing, we've screwed you over via the Postal Service. Foreign isn't really the right term because that's used with international mail. So I'm trying to figure out what's the right term to use. And I think the term I'm going to use is kind of long. So when somebody says name and address, talking to me, I don't have a name or an address. I have an appellation. I have a all lowercase non-hyphen commercial uppercase P post hyphen office lowercase mail designation, mail stop, mailing location. And now you've taken the terms and you've used the common law terminology and you've included the law of grammar, and you're dealing with a non-commercial post office versus a commercial postal service. So do you want me to pull up Title 39 so I can give you a clearer picture of what I'm talking about, folks?
Yep.
Want cousin Andy to pull up Title 39?
I just want to look up some definitions.
I'm going to try and find it. I'm going to find it. There's those of you that are thinking, what's Title 39? Well, I'm going to show you what Title 39 is. Let me do a screen share. Let me get to okay, so now you can see the right screen. So it says Title 39, Postal Service. See, we have to get by all these numbers. I don't even know what this is.
A lot of numbers.
A lot of numbers. See that word statutory notes and related subsidiaries, positive law?
Yeah. What is that?
I don't know. It's positive law. It means it's law. Postal policy and definitions. Postal policy and definitions. Let's take a look at this. 101, postal policy.
I want to find out what statutory notes is.
Stupid dog, basically. Statutory's hogwash. The United States Postal Service shall be operated as a basic and fundamental service provided to the people by the government of the United States, supported by the people. To bind the nation together, Postal Service. To rural areas, communities, and small towns. What I'm looking for is post office. As an employer, postal rates, postal service, postal service, postal service. United States Postal Service. I thought this was right in the beginning of tab. United States Postal Service, Chapter 2, Organization. Executive branch of the United States Postal Service.
What are you looking for?
Well, I'm looking for, I guess it's in Title 18 under Post Office. So let me look at that a second. Hang on a minute. Let's go to Title 18. Let's do a search. And I don't want to do that. I want to do this search for Post Office.
There's a lot of information here. I called it up on my own. General powers of the Postal Service.
Excuse me, what document are we in right now?
We were in Title 39. Now we're in Title 18.
Title 18 of what?
United States Code.
US Code. Okay, thank you.
Oh, here we go. Oh, son of a gun. Subsection 12. United States Postal Service defined. Oh, here it is. Postal Service means the United States Postal Service established under Title 39. And every officer and employee of that service, whether or not such officer or employee has taken the oath of office. Wait a minute here. We're under Title 18, folks. Crimes and criminal procedure. Are you hearing what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Wow.
You see what you have to do to get to the bottom of this? So here we are in Title 18, Crimes and Criminal Procedure. Yours truly is trying to figure out how to be able to effectively travel by right, do what I want to do without having a problem with the system. So I've literally unraveled me being able to do what I want to do through all these different statutes and codes. And I've done this within the last 3 weeks. So let's go to page 33. Let's go to our lookup screen. Post Office, click on it. So it says right here, editorial notes, inserted United States before Postal Service in Texas definition Postal Service. C, and every, established under Title 39, which included the Post Office Department. Did you catch that? So the U.S. Postal Service is not the Post Office Department. Post Office Department is old school. So here you have Postal Service. Here you have the Post Office Department. So here's proof. Within Title 18, a crimes and crime and criminal procedure. Crimes and criminal procedure on page 33. That there is the original Post Office Department still existing, which is the General Post Office, which is also where we're doing our non-commercial mail. Here's something else interesting to know. Foreign government defined. Any government, faction, or body of insurgents within a country with which the United States is at peace, irrespective of recognition by the United States. I guess each of us are a foreign government, aren't we? If we so choose. Didn't know that. Let's look at what the word interstate commerce means. Again, we're in Title 18, Crimes and Criminal Procedure. Page 32, interstate commerce. Commerce between one state, territory, possession, or the District of Columbia, and another state, territory, possession, or the District of Columbia. Did you catch that? So then you have foreign commerce, includes commerce with a foreign country. Well, that's not commerce with a foreign government. So here we have the term interstate commerce. State, that's a municipal corporation. Territory, that's an affiliate with a zip code, an address, a capital M, capital I, capital H, capital I, same thing with possession, District of Columbia zip code, or another municipal corporation, territory, possession, or the District of Columbia. Hang on a second. I want to get rid of this noise in the background. Delete that. So anyways, I thought you might want to see that. So when you go to page 7775 of Title 31, which is Money, Finance, Treasury, 977. Matter of fact, let's do that. Can you pull that up for us, Antoinette?
Sure. What do you want me to pull up? I was thinking if you could send me the link to this document here, the one that you're using, because it's searchable, right?
Yeah, all it is Title 18 free PDF. That's it. Title 18. Boom. That's it. And any PDF is searchable.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, what do you want me to call it?
Go to on our website, tkc.network, where it talks about page 977 of Money, Finance, Treasury, how we can do banking on the private side. Remember that?
Yep.
There it is. There it is right there.
Yep. Title 31, Money and Finance.
Right. So this is Title 31, Code of Federal Regulations, Part 3, page 977. So the most expedient way to get to page 977. Maybe just type in on where page 1 is, page 977. So here we go. Let me make this bigger. Ten more pages. Oh, back one page. Here it is. I think it's this page. Scroll down a bit, please. There you go. Let me back out. I was too big. Okay, scroll down just a little bit. C. Where a person is a non-resident alien, the bank shall record the person's passport number. Wait a minute, where were we there? Scroll up just a bit. Hold it. On the left, where a person is a non-resident alien, the bank shall also record the person's passport number or a description of some other government document used to verify his identity. Guess what? How about your certificate of live birth authenticated with the Department of State with an exemption identification number at the top? So a non-resident alien is a man or a woman. This is the stupid talk terminology that Title 26 uses. Oh, another title. Non-resident alien. So let's scroll down a little bit. Stop me if you have a question or a comment. Okay, right here. So there's the people that have applied for a taxpayer and SS Social Security number. What's number 3 say? A taxpayer identification number required under paragraph B1 of this section need not be secured for accounts or transaction with the following. Scroll down. Wait a minute here. Foreign governments. Geez, didn't we just say we were a foreign government? They don't have to have a taxpayer identification number or a social security number. Guess what? Your crooked judges, they don't either. You know why? They have their own little private church. Each of your crooked judges has his own private church where he's making money off the securities associated with everybody that goes to court. Your public officials, they don't need it either. Your clerks of court, they don't need it either. You know why it's called as custodians of funds? Because they're custodians of minor incompetent estates under the control of the court. This should enrage you, folks.
And we are the incompetents.
And we are the incompetents if we remain in ignorance. Let's look at number 3. Aliens who are ambassadors. We're all aliens. Bible says we're pilgrims, sojourners, aliens, strangers. This world is not my home. I'm just a passing through. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 2 when we're done with this and see what it says down in the footnotes. Aliens, and 2 Corinthians 5:20. We're ambassadors. We're all ambassadors if we know Christ as our Savior. Ministers. Oh, ministers, huh? Oh, the first article applies, huh? You don't need a taxpayer identification number or social security number if you're an ambassador or a minister, huh? Oh, if you're a man or a woman, you don't need one, huh? Oh, why didn't they teach me that in the 3rd grade? Or foreign embassies. Geez, could that apply to your non-commercial post office mailing designation? To where you're domiciled non-domestic without the United States? Yes, it could. Let's go to the right side of this page, up to the top of page 977, please. Folks, I had to read 1,000 pages to find this page. I found it. Took me 5 years. I found it. Let's see. Let's read 6 here. Aliens not engaged in a trade or business in the United States. Interesting. So if you're not engaged in trade or business in the United States, and going to school. Let's scroll down a little bit. Uh-oh. Let's read what number 10 says. Non-resident aliens who are not engaged in a trade or business in the United States. Guess what that means? You're not in commerce, non-commercial. You're a man or a woman dealing with other free men and women on the land. Now, you can also deal with the persons and the individuals, but if you're a man or woman and you have that figured out, the system considers you, they're not going to call you a man or woman. They're going to call you a non-resident alien. If they call you a person or an individual, you're back in the trap.
So how do you stay out of the United States if you're doing business? Because the people you're dealing with are going to be regular people, right?
No, you're going to be dealing with persons and individuals that are ignorant and enslaved and trapped.
Right. So, okay.
So non-resident aliens who are not engaged in a trade or business in the United States. So
all our records better not be using the zip code.
Thank you, Antoinette. Can you open Black's Law Dictionary, 1st edition, 4th edition, nationality? Good question, Mary. Do we have Black's Law 4th on there somewhere? I have it. Let's see what 1st says. I don't know if it's got what we need, but let's see what 1st says. Yep, let's try it. So let's go to NATIO. This may not have what we need. It may have what we need. We're gonna find out.
Nationality, right there.
Nationality. Oh, can you zoom in on that a little bit for us, please, Antoinette? That quality or a character which arises from the fact of a person's. This is a law dictionary, so they're going to refer to persons belonging to a nation or state. Nationality determines the political status of the individual, especially with reference to allegiance, while domicile determines his civil status. So guess what? What do we have here? Civil status, political status, and domicile. So if you want to get your civil status corrected, well, let's read the rest of this. Nationality arises either by birth or by naturalization. According to Savigny, nationality is also used as opposed to territoriality for the purpose of distinguishing the case of a nation having no national territory, e.g. the Jews. Scratch our heads here a minute. Doesn't the Bible say, this world is not my home, I'm just passing through? Doesn't the Bible call God's chosen people pilgrims, sojourners, transients, travelers, strangers, aliens to this world?
Yes, he does.
For all those things, why aren't they teaching us this word nationality and how to clarify or our status, our civil status as a private civilian, a man or a woman, our political status, I am a lowercase u, lowercase s, United States of America national, comma, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17, colon, Article 6, Paragraph 1, period, double two spaces, jurisdiction and law, capital L, for the record, I am not a United States citizen. There's my civil status. There's my political status. Now, how do I tighten up my domicile? With my non-commercial post capital P hyphen office mail location. The perfect trifecta. I've solved the problem. Now you have to know these things. You have to learn this. You have to read it. You have to go over it. You have to talk about it. You have to use it. Because freedom comes from within. And when you get it from within, it bears witness without. Questions?
So I've been sporadic in applying, like not using zip code or whatever. And I've not certified my birth certificate, thinking that it's just a matter of knowing how to stand when confronted. But the more I hear, the more I feel like we need to get everything aligned and stay in that alignment rather than switching back and forth here and there.
Well, that's a choice. It literally, Mary, what you're doing, what you're telling us all is you're learning, and as you're learning and applying, the dynamic continues. And you learn and grow, and you learn and grow, and you learn and grow. It's like muscles are doing something with your muscles. You it hurts. Well, and you grow. And I'm going to Hebrews chapter 2 in my footnotes of the Geneva Bible. So when you talk about this, when you think on these things, when you become transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you can test and approve what God's will is good, pleasing, and perfect will. It's a growth process, and you come closer to the truth on a daily basis. So if you can come together with like-minded people, it's easier to get your questions answered. I'm pretty good at just laying it down. I can't tell you what to do. I can tell you things that have worked and not worked for me, but I'm me. pretty potent when I'm doing what I'm doing. So that determines, because whenever you deal with a government official, it's a poker game. They're reading you like a book. The more sure of yourself that you are and know what you're talking about, the more leeway they're going to give you. The more uncertain you are, and if they can read that you don't know what you're talking about, and you're nervous and you're anxious, unsure, they're going to prey on you and take advantage of you to the maximum. Especially if they think you're trying to come out from the system, they're going to pounce on you.
Right.
So I want to do a screen switch-o, change-o here. Can I do that, Antoinette? Let me do a screen share.
Yeah, go ahead and take it. I'm just pointing out, I'm just kind of like doing a review of where we found all this.
Okay. So, folks, can you see my Bible screen, 2 Corinthians 5:20?
Yep.
So this is the Geneva Bible, 1599 Patriots Edition. Why do I like it? Modern typeset, Old English, and the footnotes are incredible. So you can get this online, free PDF. You can buy it. If you get the online copy, you can have this printed on like 11 by 17 or some kind of huge piece of paper. So it's huge and bigger print, and then bind it. It's up to you. So let's look at verse 20. Now then, are we ambassadors for Christ? Jeez. Kind of looks like the Creator's chosen can be ambassadors for Christ, doesn't it?
Right.
When we go back to page 977, didn't it say the lowercase a ambassadors
Yes.
didn't need a taxpayer identification number or a social security number?
Right.
Let me go smaller and let's go to Hebrews 2. There's a great footnote I want you all to see. And I'm going to tell you a story about a Sunday school teacher that drives me crazy every single time I think about this. See 2.6 footnote 3.
Scroll up. Oh, never mind. I can.
But one in a certain place. Let's see here. Hang on a minute. Yeah, verse 2.6 footnote 3. So let's look at verse 4. This is Hebrews chapter 2, verse 4. God bearing witness thereto, both with signs and wonders, and with divers miracles and gifts of the Holy Ghost, according to his own will. Verse 5. For he hath not put in subjection unto the angels the world to come, whereof we speak. Verse 6. But one in a certain place witnessed, saying, What is man that thou shouldest be mindful of him, or the Son of Man that thou wouldest consider him? Look at this footnote for 2.6. Look at number 3. He calleth all the citizens of that heavenly kingdom as they are considered in themselves. He calleth all the citizens of that heavenly kingdom as they are considered in themselves. Before that, God giveth them the liberty of that city in Christ, man and Son of Man. So if we're citizens of heaven, what are we doing being double-minded men and women, unstable in all our ways, saying we're citizens of country? You don't have to be citizens of a country. We're just ignorant. If the Jews cannot have a land of their own, why can't all the rest of the people? They can. By the grace of God, you and I came into being through our mother's womb in the land jurisdiction area called the United States of America. that doesn't mean that you have to be born or birthed here. That means your day of nativity could have taken place here. Thanks, Benjamin Franklin, for using French terminology to get us out of the system. Christ had a day of nativity. We talk about the nativity scene. So we can choose to say we had a day of nativity in the land known as the United States of America. Never the United States. And we can choose our nationality. Well, within nationality, we can't choose where we come onto the planet, but we can choose our civil status, private, civilian, private man or woman, rather than U.S. citizen or resident, which is the public commercial side. That's our civil status. We can choose our political status. I, Joe hyphen Schmo, colon of the House of Blow, all lowercase letters, all rights reserved over the top, every time, comma, am a United States of America national, period. Or, excuse me, yes, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17, colon, Article 6, Paragraph 1, period, jurisdiction and law for the record. I am not a United States citizen. And domicile, a non-commercial, foreign to the United States mailing location. How about calling it non-commercial post-office? We saw a post office right in Title 18. It's still there. Mail designation. And because there's no involuntary servitude in the lying, cheat, crooked, never ratified 13th Amendment, we can choose our nationality, meaning we can choose the choices within our nationality, our civil status, our political status, and our domicile. Does that make sense?
Yes, awesome.
Do you know how to do it? Are you willing to do it? Are you going to think about it, study it, and then eventually take action on it? Because what happens is sometimes the spirit of complacency takes hold, sometimes the spirit of apathy, sometimes cognitive dissonance comes. Oh my gosh, I didn't know this. I've adjusted my whole life to follow the system. I never knew this before. I'm going to have to make changes. Then what's going to happen? Well, I'd rather not think about that and deal with that, so I'm not going to do anything. That's your choice.
Well, that's another reason why we're trying to do this as a group and do it together. Because sometimes it's just exhausting. But you can, it doesn't have to be just you against all this.
Yeah, it's overwhelming at the beginning to find out so many things we didn't know. It's just overwhelming. It's hard to come to the understanding how much we've been tricked, and intentionally, because not everyone believes the worst of people.
Right?
Yeah, and I mean, think about it. When you're dealing with people that do know the truth, maybe they just sold out. They don't know it all either. It's just impossible to have the big picture of all of this. So it's just a daily choice. It has to be a daily choice.
Well, and apparently there's several different methods to come out of their system, and the conflicting methods can cause confusion as well.
Yeah.
Well, and if you have teachers that'll do 1 or 2% or 15% error by on purpose or by omission, and you're constantly dealing with that, it's tougher to get to true.
Yes.
So let me share my screen again. And I'm gonna try and go to Title V and show you something that I found the other day, if I can find it, and I'll show you how we're gonna find it. Okay, so you can see my screen. So I can't remember where this is at. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on search and I'm gonna type in birth certificate. Any PDF document you can search like this.
And it's the United States Code, all of it.
It's United States Code Title V. Oh, jeez, son of a gun. Son of a gun, there it is in one spot. Well, guess what? Adopting rules and regulations governing the filing of reports of births and the issuance of delayed birth certificates. Well, guess what, folks? It's in someplace else in Title V, and I'm going to find it. So here we have, oh, this is the appendix. Well, hang on a minute. Maybe there's two Title Vs. There is. See how fast I was able to do that, get in and out of that? You spend a little bit of time with this. All this is going to make sense. Title V, government organization and employees. Government organization and employees. 2069 pages. So let's type in what we're looking for. So let me get out of this. Let me do a new search. That isn't it. Search. Let's do a new search. Here we go. This is government organization and employees. Why would what I'm going to show you be here? Well, I think you're going to find this interesting. Since there's no ex post facto laws, that means if they made a law at one time, if you could do it at one time, they can't take it away at another time. Minimum standards for birth certificates. For an individual, that's someone in commerce, a person, a human being who is a citizen or national. Oh, they know about that national business, huh?
Well,
Of the United States.
the word or is pretty important right there.
Yeah, and then they want to tie it into the United States. What happened to that United States of America? These guys are slippery. Registered in the United States, issued by a federal, state, or local government agency or authorized custodian of record. Because remember, they're trustees. They want to be the trustee and the beneficiary of incompetent minor. They're custodians of incompetent minor estates. That's you and me. And produced from birth records. Or wait a minute, what's Part B say? An authenticated copy.
So your real one is in Puerto Rico.
Issued by a federal, state, or local government agency or authorized custodian of record of an original certificate of birth issued by such agency or custodian of record. Standards for acceptance by federal agencies. Let's see. At a minimum, safety papers, seals. B. Requirements shall establish requirements for proof and verification of identity as the conditions of issuance of a birth certificate, with additional security measures for the issuance for a person who is not an applicant. Standards for processing, single design, difference between the states, consultation with government agencies, Homeland Security, Social Security, state vital statistics. It all ties in right here with this birth certificate. Assistance in meeting federal standards. Okay. Assistance in matching birth and death records. Improvements in identification related documents. Matching birth and death records. So somewhere here, it talks about using a birth certificate as a, hang on, let me see if I can find it. It talks about using the birth certificate as an as identification. Minimum standards for birth certificates. Okay, so we got that. I want to see where it says that's what we can use for our identification, and it does say that. And I'm looking for that.
It's not, I don't see it there.
I don't yet either. But I found it. I may not have it in front of me, but I think I might be able to find it here. Standards for acceptance by federal agencies.
Nope.
Says no federal, pardon?
I don't see it there either, but go ahead.
No federal agency may accept it unless it conforms to such standards. So I have an authenticated copy. So now I'm still not seeing what I'm looking for. Minimum standards. Shall establish minimum standards for use by federal agencies for official purposes. So safety paper shall establish requirements for proof and verification of identity for issuance.
With additional security measures.
So I went and got mine at a copy of mine at the Office of Vital Statistics. I didn't have a state issued identification. Hang on a minute. Where's this at?
So I have a certificate of live birth, I believe, because it's white, normal paper with my parents' name on it. And later on, I started the process and I requested several copies of my birth certificate, and it came out on a certificate looking thing. It was like alien. I didn't expect it to look different from what I already had. So what one do you get authenticated?
Well, you're supposed to be able to get a certificate of live birth copy, which comes from the Office of Vital Statistics of your state. So, like in Michigan, that's at Lansing.
You can ask for one on the USCIS website.
And I'm not finding what I'm looking for.
I
Go
already
ahead.
have two, and they don't look the same. So one I had, I don't know, I guess it was given to me as a kid or something. And then the copies that I formally requested, they look like a certificate with like, they look like they're tradable stocks or something.
Yeah, they are, because it is a security.
Yeah, it says security, other security measures.
So when you got yours authenticated, Andy, was yours, did it look like that too? Or was it just?
I have a copy of that. Can Nice.
Okay, guys, this is Ahava. I got it split. So I just wanted to let you guys know if you want to catch more on TKC, we've got live shows every day. 9 o'clock Hawaii time on Monday, which is all about constitutional law, how to change your status and your standing and jurisdiction. On Tuesdays, we've got more about real money. We teach this all day long, Monday through Friday, live classes on TKC. And right now we are on Oahu and I'm heading to our seniors fitness program that we started over at Alaka'i CrossFit. It's now a whole life wellness center. We're set up as mind, body, spirit makeover. If you guys want to learn the truth in everything, food, health, wealth, how to keep your money, please join us daily. Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. Please pay it forward and get people on tkc.network. We look forward to bringing you truth in all matters every day to help you ascend and live a better life. God bless you. I'll see you at the gym. We're at Kapolei, over 50 crowd, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 10:30 to 11:30. So I got to go. If you guys want to catch what's rest of the show, make sure you have WebEx and WebEx meetings downloaded, and then go on the live show today and finish up with Andrew. God bless you. Ahui ho, and see you soon. God bless. Aloha.